I want to welcome everyone here on this frosty day, and I also would like to welcome council members. We have Councilmember Jennifer Massotti and Councilmember Kathy Plomin, who've been working really hard on today's announcement, as well as this fabulous project. Councilmember Susan Lamb is here. Vice Mayor Steve Kay is somewhere out there. There you are. Thank you. Councilmember Jennifer Reynolds. Councilmember, I'm looking into the light, James Brown. And we are so thrilled that our council members have joined us. This is a great day. It's an exciting moment for our city. And today, we get to meet the artist and see a small model, a maquette, of a monument that is going to tell the world what an important contribution women have made to our city. This monument will remind Lexington women how far we have come and how far we have to go. The artist Councilmember Massotti is going to introduce to you in a few minutes is extraordinary. She has created over 75 large-scale works of art, public art, throughout North America and beyond. Choosing an artist for this project has been a highly competitive process. There were 127 replies to the nationwide appeal, Breaking the Bronze Ceiling, made for artists qualified to do this work. A professional panel of artists and design professionals selected 4 artists from the 127, and those 4 were here in September to present their proposals to the panel. The woman we are celebrating today emerged from that process as the unanimous winner. We know where her work will sit, at the corner of Vine and Mill on the Lexington Financial Center Plaza. Thanks again to Dudley Webb and the Webb Companies for making a site available for this monument. And we know when the work will be installed. In August of 2020, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, which granted women the right to vote. So be sure to mark August as the month. And now, Councilmember Massotti, co-chair of the Breaking the Bronze Ceiling Committee, is going to give a little bit of history and tell us who the artist is. Councilmember Massotti.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this important milestone. In March of 2018, by unanimous council resolution, we took our first steps towards making this important public art piece a reality. First, I'd like to thank our steering committee, and I think there's some members out there in the audience if you'd raise your hands. I can't see very well, but I know you're out there. Thank you so much. Our Vice Chair, Councilmember Kathy Plomin, Mayor Gorton, Council members, CAO Hamilton, I'm not sure if you're here, Ms. Hamilton, but she's been extraordinary. The Webb Companies, of course, I know you're up in the tiers there. And our donors and everyone who's had a hand in helping us reach this notable moment. From the beginning, as I have said before, our goal has been simple: honor the past, inform the present, and inspire future generations. To send the message to young boys and girls that 51% of the population has had a hand in shaping history. The opportunity to choose your government by voting is the basic definition of democracy. The right to vote is not only synonymous with equality, but in my mind, freedom. At the turn of the century, the women's suffrage effort became a mass movement. It would be referred to by many historians as the Great Fight. It was not an easy fight. Rather, it was a long and difficult and sometimes bloody and brutal journey. Supporters tried time and time again to convince the nation that the suffrage was a good idea, and time again failed to get legislators to vote on it. In fact, the amendment languished in the legislature for over 40 years. Nevertheless, Kentucky was on the forefront for women's suffrage, not just in the South, but in the nation. Women who were heads of households and taxpayers won the right to vote on tax and education issues in rural areas of Kentucky in 1838, 10 years before the Seneca Falls Convention. That made Kentucky the first place anywhere in the country where women could participate in the electoral process, and that was huge. So big hand to Kentucky for that. The early suffrage efforts in Kentucky included advocacy for equal rights for both African Americans and women. Kentucky voted to ratify the 19th Amendment on January 6, 1920. The 19th Amendment was finally ratified into our Constitution on August 18, 1920. The opening of the 19th Amendment's text reads, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex." The amendment changed the electorate in this country forever. In August of 2020, it will have been 100 years since the 19th Amendment was ratified and women were granted the right to vote. Unfortunately, sometimes we do take that for granted. So we stand here today on the shoulders of such strong women as Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and closer to home, Madeline McDowell Breckinridge, Mary Barclay, Laura Clay, Dr. Mary Britton, Lucy Wilmot Smith, and so many others. Perhaps Susan B. Anthony summoned it best when she said, "There will never be complete equality until women themselves help to make the laws and elect the lawmakers." But for too long now, women's historical contributions and accomplishments, for the most part, have been overlooked, forgotten, and consequently omitted from mainstream culture. And today, we are here to change that narrative. I would like to introduce the artist who's going to help us make it happen. Barbara Gurgutis has been chosen to sculpt the Breaking the Bronze Ceiling Monument. Barbara is internationally recognized for her sculptures. Her completed projects include iconic freestanding works, sculpture gardens, public plazas, gateways, signature markers, memorials, monuments, and works of art designed to enhance pedestrian and urban mass transportation systems. She's a remarkable woman and a fantastic artist, and we're delighted to have her in Lexington today. Please join me in welcoming Barbara.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Masadi. And Barbara, congratulations and welcome to Lexington.
Thank you.
This is going to be a wonderful addition to downtown and to the Town Branch Commons. And now, let's hear from co-chair of the Breaking the Bronze Ceiling Committee, Kathy Ploman. She is spearheading the fundraising effort.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Gordon, and thanks to all of you in attendance. It's great to have you behind us. I always get to go kind of towards the rear of the agenda because one of the last things we want you to think about when you leave is say to yourselves, "Woo, I need to send some money to support that." We just happen to have some of our donation envelopes with us today. And I do want to share with you that we are proud to announce that as of today, we have approximately $350,000 towards our $500,000 goal. But we need to get to goal, so that's where you come in. Now more than ever. And today I have a motivator for that to happen. We have 2 anonymous donors that will provide a match to your contributions up to $50,000. It will double your gift, so don't hold back. Did I mention that we have donor envelopes with us today? This is such a community important project, and we really want you to be involved. So act now before the match is completed and topped out. Remember, this is 'tis the season, and breaking the bronze ceiling can be the reason. Thank you for being with us today, and if you've given to our efforts, thank you again, and if not, we will find you, and thank you in advance.
Thank you, Councilmember Plomin. And I believe I saw the pamphlets out in the lobby that we want people to pick up. And so now it's time for the reveal. So I'd ask Councilmember Masadi and Councilmember Plomin to join me at the reveal. And Barbara, do you want to help us do this?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do this thing. Okay. Drum roll here. Do we want to do a countdown? All right, 3, 2, 1.
I've been asked to speak a little bit about what inspired me to create this concept. I would like to start by saying, as a woman, this is, of course, an incredibly special project, but I do think that the passage of the right for women to vote is universally good for men, women, children. It's good for everybody. It's a very positive advancements for a society. So I'm honored to have the opportunity to express this in a public monument. When I first saw the request for qualifications and proposals, I started to think about what that means, breaking the bronze ceiling. It doesn't mean that we just need another bronze of a woman. It means that there are really no monuments in the country that celebrate women's achievements, if you think about it. And when I first saw the RFQ, I thought I could think of one. The Susan B. Anthony, Emily Dickinson is on the line of poets in Central Park, if any of you are familiar with that. That's the only monument celebrating a woman who achieved something that I could think of. And if any of you can think of others, I'd love to know what they were, so I could add them to my list and to my talks. So these figures are basically silhouettes of suffragettes, and the suffragettes cut a very dynamic figure as they lobbied for 40 years to get this amendment passed. If you look at the historical documentation, they're always in a line. It's almost like a line dance. They form a strong semicircle in many of these images. They're always dressed in white. They have it's almost like a uniform. Because of the times, they have fabulous hats. So I wanted to convey a sense of the time, but also do this in a contemporary medium, and we are into 2020, so it's 100 years. So combining the historical with the contemporary was part of my goal as an artist. These figures will be 20 feet tall, monumental. They are composites of silhouettes of suffragettes from many images that I was able to research. They will be three-dimensional, and they'll be lit from within. So at night, there will be a white light that kind of emulates from the sculpture. There will be text. The text of the amendment will be at the bottom and on this granite pedestal. The 5 figures that form the line will sit on a 6-inch granite pedestal that will elevate it above the planter, so it will feel monumental. As an artist, this is a fantastic project. I'm really honored to be here in Lexington and so impressed with everything that you're trying to do here. I'm so honored to be a part of it. I'm trying to think, right. This is going to be a matte aluminum. This looks a little shiny, but I guess because of discussions that we've had this morning, because of reflection on cars, we're going to tone this down a little bit. And I think the best way to proceed would be to answer questions. Does anybody have some questions? I need these sunglasses because I can't see, but I'd be happy to answer questions. This is a very fast project. Typically, it takes about a year. We're going to do this in 9 months. This will be installed, I hope, on August 1st. So I think we've already booked the crane. So, all right. Someone else? That's a great question. So many women were involved in the effort. There's no way to single out one person. I know I actually did create a small park at Texas Tech University in Lubbock to celebrate Elizabeth Cady Stanton. But really, it was the effort of many, many women. So the objective here is to have a composite that does not single out any specific person, but gives an impression that many people did help with this effort. Many, many people. I hope that answers the question. Yeah. This is a cross between representational and abstract art. The silhouettes are definitely recognizable as figures, as human figures. And yes, there will be some cutouts that the light will come through that will allude to the lace, that beautiful Victorian lace, to set the period when this happened. But overall, when you look at this from the street, it will have a very contemporary feel. So I think I'm trying to, as an artist, combine historical iconography with a contemporary feel of the 20th century, 21st century. Right. Next. I can't see, but anybody else have any questions? Well, I think we've covered it. Did I miss anything here?
No, you didn't.
No? Okay.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you, Barbara. And we just all look forward to celebrating the 100th anniversary of the amendment next August. And what we'll do is move this back to the pedestal so you all can get a close-up look. Thank you for being here.